Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Here's a question for you. Why do people come to the internet? Just think about it. Is it because they want to watch cat videos on YouTube, or is it because they just want to chat with their friends on YouTube or watch the latest TikTok phrase? At any given moment, people are coming to the internet for three distinct things, and those categories are entertainment, information, and shopping. Now, as a coach, consultant, or small business owner, your business has to be doing either one of these things at any given moment: entertaining your audience, informing them, and helping them buy services that will make their lives better. And it's common knowledge that content actually drives traffic to our website, but creating new content on the daily basis can become a big pain in the budget. But there's hope. You can actually repurpose your content so you can save time, money, and effort. And in this podcast, we're going to be talking about how repurposing your content can actually save on your marketing budget. Okay, so like we've already established, it's not easy coming up with new things and content every single day, and as we have also established, it is very expensive. You gotta get the photos done, pay somebody to do the writing if you're not able to do that. If you're going to be doing a podcast, pay somebody to edit it, pay for the equipment. All of those things become a big burden. But if we shoot once and then repurpose that content over and over and make sure that our content is evergreen, then we can actually save a whole lot of money trying to reach out to our audience so that we can, like we said, engage them, educate them, inspire them, and continuously provide them, because people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. Okay. So if your business is the one that's providing this information and entertaining people, all of this stuff, then obviously people would know, like, and trust your business. And if you are the one that does this, you obviously are head and shoulders above your competition. And like anything, trust takes time to build, which means you have to constantly be giving. If you need to educate, if you need to engage and build a good relationship with your audience, you need to be doing this at multiple stages in their marketing journey and your marketing funnel. And therefore, it's actually going to take a lot of time for you to convert these prospects into actual customers. All right. And I actually have a rule within my business that we do not pitch until we've provided enough value. All right. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are also not wasting a lot of time, as time is a precious commodity, and it's sometimes unnecessary for you and your team to actually spend a lot of effort trying to reinvent the wheel. So if it's only one thing to save time and money, but to truly save on your marketing budget, you have to squeeze to the full measure every drop of your marketing advantages, and each piece of content that you put out there, you have to make sure that people get to see it and engage with it. All right. If you notice, if you put out an email, maybe 22% of your email list at any given moment are going to be opening that email, and maybe 2 to 3% of those people are going to actually click through and see that piece of content. So just because you've created it, it doesn't mean that everyone has seen that piece of content. Just because you've posted it on Facebook or on LinkedIn or Instagram, it doesn't mean your whole audience has seen it. So you want to leverage that original content to its fullest extent, okay? At the end of the day, you want to be working smarter, not harder. So make sure that you get more mileage out of each piece of content that you write or each photograph that you put out there, and expand and maximize, whatever topic that you've researched by repurposing that content, maybe for a slideshow or into a video or into an infographic, etc. So in addition, while in the midst of repurposing your content and reorganizing your thoughts on a topic, you may actually receive yet another epiphany and uncover a new angle or theme, or even add missing bits of that content, making it much more important. There are so many books that are repackaged or that are a new edition is put out, and you can tell the book was written maybe 10 years ago, and maybe a thought comes to the author, and then he repackages the book, making it much more appealing and making it new and improve. And talking about improvements, you can actually improve your SEO if you repurpose your content. All right. You see, when you repurpose your content, it means you're putting out more search engine optimization assets about the same topic, and expanding on your expertise. And by so doing, you bring your content to the forefront of different search engines that can index it, and it actually allows for you to cross-link between related content collateral. Now, each and every content piece that we put out there is sort of like a representative of us in the search engines there. So the more of those pieces that you have, and the more that actually relate to each other, the better it is for your SEO strategy. But you want to speak to your SEO consultant to see if some pieces of content are worth repurposing, especially if they have an expiry date. You don't want to do that. All right. And like I said, the more you are out there in the search engines, the more opportunities that you are having, that people can get to see you, and it attracts a different buyer persona, or it actually reaches them at the different buyers stage of their buyer's journey. Okay, so let's say some people are just only podcast only people. That means they're probably not reading blogs. And if you're only a podcast person and you're not transcribing your blog, then you're missing out on the potential of reaching an audience that would have enjoyed reading your blogs instead of listening to your podcast. All right. So just like I am one person that really enjoys a physical book than an ebook or an audio book, it doesn't mean that my clients or the people that I subscribe deal with only like also physical books. All right, so if I'm not putting out audio out there, I'm missing out on a great chunk of people that might have consumed that content in the modality that they love. So at any given moment, you want to identify your target market and clarify your message. The media at which you will reach out these people is how you then repurpose this content. Okay, so when you reshape any existing content, you have a second chance to be more targeted in your messaging. All right, considering that each buyer or each persona sort of responds to different wording and different phrases. Okay, and it's critical to change maybe the terminology or the intensity of the content to suit the perspective or the platform that you're going to be putting that content on. All right, so people that are on Instagram are just maybe scrolling through bikini photos, food photos, wine photos. You don't want to put a heavy, well-researched piece of content on there. You just want to blend in to what the customer is already receiving or subscribed to. All right, so that's how you can actually start engaging different buyer personas just based on the platform that they found you on. Okay, and once you have repurposed your content, it actually reaches out to your audience through different mediums. Like explaining that if somebody's just tired and they just want to scroll through social media, they definitely don't go on LinkedIn. They just go on the Instagram where it's easy and they have a visual, representation of whatever you're trying to put out there. So if you have a podcast or if you have, a blog that you wrote out there, you can take out snippets of it and then just put them as quotes. That you can put on Instagram, and if somebody is interested in learning more, then they can always click the link in your bio and then go and visit your website. So some forms of content are more digestible, in different formats than others. Okay, some things are better explained in a video because maybe there's a visual aspect to the product. I mean, it's very difficult to do a cooking show on a podcast. People are doing it. I'm not saying it can't be done, but people want to be seeing the ingredients. Sometimes I just marvel at how my wife consumes, recipe videos, because they're going on at like 5 speed or 10 speed, and she's just looking at the ingredients that are on the table, and automatically she can make a meal out of that. Wow, such talent. And you need to be appealing to customers like that just want bite-sized information for them to create bite-sized meals, for their families, while on the go. Nobody has time to watch a 1 hour long, recipe video while the kids are crying and want a quick snack. Okay. So additionally, some people love to read detailed white papers and case studies, while others may prefer just to see small snippets, like 140 characters or less. It's quite funny. Donald Trump ran a whole country based on his tweets. And, some people were getting all that information on how, his next moves were just from 140 characters or less. All right. So if you're offering relatable content across several mediums, it also helps you really clarify your message, because if you have to say something in 140 characters, then it's easy for you to actually be succinct. And when you put out long form content, you can then actually expagorate on that to make sure that your customers truly get what it is that you're talking about. Okay. So it actually makes a huge difference in your marketing efforts and return of investment, because you are, using the same piece of research or content. It's just put in a different format. And the more you do this, you're actually reinforcing your message. Okay, let's get this straight. Our customers are bombarded with messages daily, and people need to understand or hear or see you at least 13 different times. Okay, and in those 13 different times, it could be the same message that you're hitting them with, instead of 500 different messages that are said in a different format. So as we are bombarded with messaging on a daily basis, our customers' lives are full of distraction at the moment. So sometimes it takes conditioning to actually make an idea stick. So when you repurpose your content, it actually allows you to explore and communicate your ideas from many angles and in different formats. All right. And by communicating your core ideas, often maybe using different approaches, you actually deepen that impact that you want your customers to understand, because we want our customers to make sense of the world around them. So if we are going to be spraying and praying with our marketing out there, just saying stuff that is not related or that our customers cannot make contextual sense out of, then we are just adding to the noise. All right. So if we can repurpose our content, we are making sure that our message is reiterated and our customers are actually understanding what it is that we want them to do, and we are actually encouraging their dreams or confirming their suspicions or justifying their failures. And we literally talking to people with the right kind of pain and we're offering them the right kind of product. All right. So in the long run, I mean, all these other benefits that I've mentioned will actually save you on your marketing budget if you fully leverage one piece of original content to its fullest effect. And the mark of a seasoned and matured coach, consultant, or small business owner is when they can cleverly make a simple idea and effectively build multiple avenues for increased traffic, because the goal for every coach, consultant, and small business owner is to generate more leads to their business and create for and relate to their audience. And why would you want to be contributing to the noise when you can actually help your customers make sense of the world around them? Okay, so when you repurpose your content, it's actually a very smart tactic that every coach, consultant, or small business owner should actually be adding to their belt. And there are so many ways that you can actually then repurpose your content to actually then win customers, because one of the key activities for any sort of marketing strategy like we have been mentioning, is to create meaningful content that people can refer to and utilize to make sense of the world around them. And for you to stand out, you need to be producing fresh and relevant posts and articles, videos, and podcasts like this on a more regular basis. If you would notice, we put out a podcast every single day, just so that you've got a fresh take on the things that you're already doing, so you can make sense of the online world around you. And with that, we're hoping that you can make good decisions that will then enable you to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And in exchange, we're just hoping that you jump onto our website, look at our stuff, and maybe buy from us or refer clients to us. And it's so important for you to be able to bring traffic to your website so you can also get more subscribers and then eventually turn those subscribers into customers. But obviously, like we've already established, creating a large amount of good quality content can be very, very challenging and a pain in the budget. And you have to stay on top of the latest trends and carry out substantial research, which costs a lot of time, money, and effort. And you also have to be structuring your content well in order for you to leverage it so that it can support your search engine optimization or SEO. All right. So me sitting here on the microphone each and every single day, I just look at a topic or maybe look at what my customers are struggling with, and then I try and endeavor to deliver on that piece of content. And I try to make the content evergreen, just so that we're not repeating ourselves. And also, when depending on how you received this podcast, it would have come through an email, or you would have been prompted by whatever platform that you're listening to. Especially Spotify will tell you every single time that we have a podcast coming through. Okay, so creating content is not easy, and you can run out of ideas, and guess what? You can soon just get burned out, okay? But not to worry. There's a simple way that you can actually solve your content creation woes, and that is to repurpose content, like I've been elaborating in this podcast. And repurposing content is where you reuse content that already exists on your website or videos or social media, and then you can reuse this content on different platforms, creating new opportunities for you to reach out to your audience. And you can actually convert one content format to another and utilize whatever you already have created. But It's so important to actually start planning your content first and then repurpose later, instead of planning how you can chop up a piece of content that you haven't created yet. And if you do this well, it would enable you to take a few pieces of content, give them a new lease on life, and then you can actually start utilizing them. One thing that is now at our disposal these days is user generated content. We don't necessarily have to create our own original content, as it comes, because our customers are already talking about our brands. Why not utilize whatever they're already saying? Not only is that going to help you clarify your message, but you actually get to understand and engage with your audience and find out exactly what their pain points are and exactly what the language they're using to explain themselves. Because it is something that we already know, that if somebody already knows what your problem is, you assume they have a solution. So you want to leverage user-generated content. And user-generated content is all around us. It's anything that your audience posts about your brand online. It includes product reviews, customer questions and answers. Maybe you've got a membership sites. You've got forum discussions that you have, reviews on your products, blog posts reviewing your brand or your product. You want to utilize or get on top of that sort of content, so that you're not just speaking about yourself. You're also giving people the ammunition to talk about you. So there are many more examples that you can use from user generated content, and they're available for your business to use, and you can leverage them in so many different ways. If you look at our website, you will notice that it is littered with a lot of our customer testimonials, all the ones that we took off of Facebook or Google reviews and stuff like that. And you can actually create ads with user reviews and ratings or testimonial videos, and you can actually feature your customer stories in your email marketing and make your customers the hero of your content on your website. You can also share this, on your social media, and make your customers, especially if your customers are using your product or your service. Okay, so when you use user-generated content in this way, it actually creates social proof, and it actually influences visitors to your site, and creates that trust that we were talking about earlier, for people to buy your products, because people are always searching for what others want. Okay, and if they don't see any other people using your products or patronizing your business, then they might think that your service or your solutions do not quite work. Okay, so maybe you haven't quite gotten reviews yet. You can actually invite people into like focus groups, or you can invite people onto a Zoom webinar where you can then use their quotes or use their questions as part of your content strategy. Because if you create a webinar, it's actually a powerful way to engage with people and create conversations during that webinar, because people are free to speak and ask questions, and you might actually get information that you didn't quite know on how your potential customers describe their problems, and how you can actually create solutions in order for you to help them make sense of the world around them. And when you hold a webinar, you're encouraged to record it and then transcribe it for future use. All right, I used to do webinars, and I also used to do interviews where I would interview people that are potential clients, or people that my potential clients respect. All right, and then I'll use that content as small quotes and insightful statements that are great for Twitter, and you can actually share them as fodder so that people can consume your content even without engaging in a whole full webinar. All right, so webinars are actually a useful way that you can find out what your users' questions and concerns are, and you can actually address those problems live online, and you can use those snippets as social media posts to really show that you can help people by actually helping them. So speaking of getting people to create content for you, you can actually start a membership site. You can leverage it's still user generated content, without even having to play a role in the actual creation of this content. You can actually create a membership site that fosters discussions. When you create a membership site, you allow your audience to actually ask questions and give answers depending on their expertise. And it's a way to get ideas and actually understand what your audience is saying, when they're discussing or looking for services that you provide. Okay, we've created a membership site, www.livelongbusinesscommunity.com.au. If you listen up until the end of this podcast, you will hear what it is that we're doing with our own membership site, and your site members will actually feel more connected to your brand through whatever interactions that they are doing. And if people are giving information and helping others, man, it actually creates a better world, and you'd have created an environment or a permission asset for people to actually then reach out to you and say, hey, since you're already providing all this value, can you just help us make sense of the world around us? Okay, and you can then start turning any of those popular user-generated contents into either videos or blogs, or you can actually put them into a podcast like this. All right, so you want to turn popular articles into videos, so you can utilize YouTube's search engine power as the second biggest search engine, based on the fact that it is owned by Google. So your website may have maybe certain articles that are evergreen and providing information that's relevant for a very long time. You can also have certain posts that are popular and are getting a lot of shares, and it's a great idea to then create videos that are inspired by such content. You can actually do a commentary on a blog post that did well and explain why it went well, it works well, especially in the marketing field, so that people can get to understand what's working and what's not working, because a significant number of people actually prefer to watch videos over reading, and it depends on, maybe they're on their commute and they just want to get succinct information for them to make sense of the world around them. So you can reach a broader audience by actually creating videos from your best written content, and you can also work the other way around by creating posts from your videos. So if people are actually sharing a piece of content amongst their peers, they will obviously be sharing the videos, and video actually travels a whole lot faster than a piece of content that is written. So this will actually serve people who prefer to take their time reading or just watching, and you would have actually reached a broader audience, which gives you more opportunities to win customers that you would not have done had you not repurposed that content. So you are actually leveraging multiple formats, which with the least amount of effort, just by repurposing your content. Now, the ultimate reason for us to repurpose our content is because, like I said, our main goal for each consultant and coach is to get more clients and generate more revenue while we're growing our business. And you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands full, all right? So it's quite normal for you to feel like you've run out of ideas to create good content that gets more traction or more traffic. And you can save time and create varied pieces of content by repurposing existing material. And then you can reshare your previously published content either on social media or on other platforms that you had not physically reached. And in this way, you're able to reach people who would have missed your original piece of content before. Some people might feel like it's cheating to repurpose content, but go ahead. and be a saint. But at the end of the day, you're just gonna run out of steam. Whereas you can actually utilize whatever you've researched or whatever you've written before in different formats for you to actually reach, a wider audience. Okay, and people that would have not seen your content, like we put the example of our email marketing there, that maybe 27% open an email, and then maybe 2 to 3% actually click to see that piece of content. So with any subsection of your audience, not everyone is seeing our content. Okay, and another idea is to maybe change the format of a previously published material. Like we've said, maybe you've got a data filled numbers, blog post that you've researched a lot, and maybe people are finding it difficult to engage with those numbers. You can actually create an infographic out of that piece of content. And if the infographic is maybe too dense for people to consume, you can actually turn that into a video. So it's just helpful to encourage your audience, to create content and consume different formats of your content, and so that you can see which ones are actually working as well. Okay, and I really want to say this. If you repurpose your content, you're actually providing your audience with posts, videos, and a way for them to increase, their spend with you, because the more they know about you, the more it will be easier for them to do business with you. And you'll definitely save time, money, and effort, and you will be winning over customers with helping, helping them make sense of the world around them. People or your audience out there is waiting for you to engage them, educate them, inspire them, and provide them with value. And people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So go ahead and look out for your best pieces of content, and then just repurpose them, because in those pieces of content, there's acres of diamonds that you're probably just sitting on, because not everyone is looking at our content at any given moment that we put it out there. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au